They fired her to streamline operations. What they didn't realize was that she was the license. And pulling her out detonated the entire system. Legacy overhead. That's what he called me. I was halfway through updating a compliance audit sheet when the video feed crackled to life. And there he was, Matt, 30 years old, if we're being generous. Probably the kind of guy who used Synergy in bed and thought Excel macros were cutting-edge sorcery. The CFO introduced him as the efficiency fixer, which is corporate code for hatchet man with a smile. Tanned, tooth-bleached, styled like, he googled alpha male fade. "Hi, everyone," he said, giving the kind of smirk you see on guys who still do keg stands at weddings. "I'm here to streamline operations and eliminate process redundancies." His eyes landed on me through the screen, like he was scanning for which antique chair to throw out first. I didn't flinch, just clicked save as on the folder I kept with every licensing document. Federal renewal, timestamp, internal compliance chain, tied to my name. Labeled it, church pancake recipes, and backed it up to a private drive. Dana Miller wasn't going out like a rookie. By lunchtime, I heard him in the break room joking with two junior analysts about phasing out boomer infrastructure. I'm 42, not a boomer. But in Matt's world, if you don't TikTok your workflow, you're obsolete. Then came the huddle, open floor plan, everyone standing around like it was an exorcism of common sense. Matt pulled up a slide deck filled with nonsense phrases like agile compliance ecosystem and decentralized accountability hubs. I watched 3 interns nod like they were witnessing the second coming of Elon Musk. "Some of our team members," he said, pausing dramatically, "especially those with legacy responsibilities, will be reassessed to ensure alignment with our lean strategy." Then, staring straight at me, "We appreciate your historical contributions, Dana." Historical, like I was a damn sarcophagus in HR's basement. I didn't say a word. Just smiled, the kind of smile you give when someone walks into a bear trap you've been camouflaging for a decade. That night, I stayed late. Not because I had to. I wanted to watch the system breathe, like a mother watching her kids sleep before CPS shows up. Credentials. 3 federal platforms. Free, active certification renewal, control licensing PIN, and audit clearance. Still tied to my name. I made sure the timestamps matched, then I printed my contract clause. The one nobody ever reads. Section 7C. In the event of involuntary termination, all company-paid licensing responsibilities and regulatory certifications shall be considered void, and all credentials will be formally rescinded within 48 hours of contract nullification. Nobody noticed when I left the building, but I noticed Matt's eyes lingered on me that morning like a lion staring at a cow, not realizing the cow has access to predator drones. Have you ever seen a man mistake a fuse for a shoelace? You will. By Tuesday, Matt had taped a poster above the copier that said compliance does not equal complacency. The font was Comic Sans. Then came the real fun. Everyone yes. Everyone was told they had to re-interview for their evolved role. Spun like a bonding exercise, like we should be grateful for a chance to pitch ourselves for the same job titles printed on our health insurance cards. One by one, folks shuffled into conference rooms like kids headed to the principal's office. Newer hires came out smiling, parroting things like "Matt sees me and he's bringing fresh air." I wanted to tell them that kind of air comes from a busted sewer. When it was my turn, I didn't bring a resume. I brought silence. Matt barely looked up from his laptop. "Dana, you've been here a while." 10 years, I said, cool as a cucumber in a snowstorm. "Right. Institutional knowledge. We value that." His fingers tapped the keys, probably typing Fire Dinosaur into Slack. He pulled up a half-baked organizational chart and pointed at a box labeled Regulatory Stewardship. Under it, my name, crossed out. Next to it, open to be reassigned. He clicked a tab labeled Q3 Renewal Delegation. My eyes clocked the file name, Q3_license_Ruth_plan_V1. In the comments, it read, "Can this be transferred downstream?" Downstream, in Mattspeak, meant dumped onto someone to green to spell OSHA. I smiled, didn't flinch. But inside, a siren started wailing. Back at my desk, I opened the database I built from scratch in 2016. Every compliance certificate, its expiration date, governing body, and who had signature authority. 43 items. 43 licenses. 43 red threads in a noose. Tied to my name. Exported a fresh copy. Encrypted, zipped, renamed it, employee_birthday_cake_list, emailed to a private account. Cleared the sent items. Call me paranoid, but I've seen what happens when children play with matches and call it innovation. Later that afternoon, Matt reassigned my inspection prep to a marketing intern who thought FDA stood for Food Design Aesthetic. No lie, she asked if that meant redesigning the lunchroom posters. Meanwhile, I was tasked with reorganizing the janitorial supply shelf. It'll keep you in the loop at a foundational level, Matt said. Foundational? Like mold, I replied politely. I asked if I still had admin access to our licensing dashboard. Matt blinked. Oh, I think we routed that to Chloe last week. You don't need it anymore, right? Chloe had just learned what a PDF was. I didn't argue, just nodded. Logged into a terminal down the hall. Revoked her access from the shadow admin panel, which no one else knew existed. If I was getting kicked off the ship, I wasn't leaving the map behind. Later that day, I walked past Matt's glass-walled office. He was laughing on a call. Something about scrubbing out the old wood. He didn't notice me watching, but I noticed something. The fuse was shorter now, and the room smelled like smoke. When the room collectively remembered, Dana Miller wasn't some dusty compliance grandma. She was the linchpin, and they had yanked her out like a wisdom tooth, hooked into the spine. Meanwhile, across town, Dana's phone buzzed. It was Liz from documentation, a decent person, once kind, who baked cookies for audit week and used to sneak post-it doodles onto Dana's monitor back when the world made sense. Dana, Liz's voice cracked. Did you do this? Dana stirred her coffee, looked out the window at nothing, then smiled. No, she said calmly. You did. Click. She didn't hang up hard, didn't yell. That would have been giving them too much credit. Because this wasn't revenge. This was math. 1 + 1 = you fired the wrong damn person. Auditors were now sitting in the lobby. The company legally couldn't allow them into the secured wings without a licensed compliance officer present, which meant the audit couldn't proceed, which meant every single vendor and client relying on certified compliance for active projects would be in technical breach of contract in approximately 4 hours. And Dana, she was getting her nails done, midnight burgundy gel finish. Not because she needed to, because power doesn't need to raise its voice, it just has to walk away. Monday, 8:37 a.m., the building smelled like stale coffee, dried sweat, and the quiet shame of a company that just realized it had stepped on its oxygen hose. That's when he walked in. Gregory T. Winslow, CEO, Crewstan, glowing like an overcooked rotisserie chicken. Silk shirt still creased from whatever Monaco resort he'd just floated back from. The man reeked of wealth, sunscreen, and complete oblivion. He strolled through the glass atrium like a Roman emperor returning from battle, waving at receptionists, throwing finger guns at junior VP. Morning, folks, hope y'all didn't burn the place down while I was gone. Nobody laughed. By the time he hit the executive floor, he had 3 unread urgent compliance emails and a voicemail from legal that ended with the words non-compliance disaster. At 9:02 a.m., he burst into the ops room expecting mild turbulence. Instead, he walked into a goddamn plane crash. Operations, frozen. Vendor shipments, halted. Inspections, failed. Certifications, invalid. Clients, livid. Revenue dashboard, flatlined. He turned to the room of red-eyed managers, jaw tightening. Who's handling this? All heads turned toward Matt. Matt now looked less like a visionary and more like a middle schooler who had just flooded the gym with glitter glue. Gregory pulled up Dana's termination paperwork on a wall-mounted monitor. Read it in silence, scrolled, then scrolled some more. Finally, he said it quietly, like he couldn't believe the syllables. You fired the license holder. Matt opened his mouth, closed it. Gregory's voice didn't rise. It dropped. Fired the person with sole federal licensing authority across all departments. Matt stammered. Her responsibilities were deemed redundant. Gregory laughed. But not a joke laugh. More like an I just found out my kid sold our car for crypto laugh. He pointed at the screen. Her name is on every regulatory document, every active license, every renewal path, every legal compliance chain this company depends on to exist. Legal rushed in with a manila folder. Here's our top 5 suspended vendors, someone whispered. Gregory tossed the folder onto the table like a blackjack dealer. Dana Miller. Listed on every single one. He spun back to the room. And you let a kid who still writes in buzzword soup fire her. Matt tried one last Hail Mary. I thought we could reassign it. It said we could just update contact info. It's a federal license. Not a damn email, alias, Gregory thundered. Silenced. Gregory grabbed his phone. Looked up Dana's contact. Nothing. HR piped up. We tried reaching her, she's unresponsive. Gregory sighed, sat down, rubbed his temples like the sunburn had crawled behind his eyes. Then get her back. Matt coughed. She might not want to come back. Gregory looked at him like he was a bug crawling across a Bion loafer. Oh, she come back. We'll pay. Gravel, name a wing after her if we have to. But deep down, even he knew the woman they tossed like moldy leftovers now held the keys to their entire damn kingdom. And she wasn't standing at the gate anymore. She'd built another castle by noon. Dana had 6 high-priority messages flagged in her inbox from Winslow Enterprises, 1 voicemail from an assistant named Trevor, who sounded like he hadn't slept since Thursday and might be on the verge of selling a kidney for leverage. Subject line, urgent return requested by CEO Directive. Dana didn't open it right away. She finished her late breakfast. 2 eggs over medium, sourdough toast, and the smug silence of a woman whose enemies were now taking meetings under fluorescent lights, while she basked in the soft hum of a home espresso machine. Across the city, Gregory Winslow was pacing his executive suite, like a lion forced into customer service. Matt. Oh, Matt was now Associate Project Liaison, Level 2, which is corporate for sit down, shut up, and don't touch anything with a password. His standing desk gone, his monitor downgraded to a 19 inches square. The only thing agile about Matt now was the speed with which he got thrown under the bus. Gregory had a legal draft up a proposal to Dana within hours. Consulting role, effective immediately, term contract, 6 months minimum, reduced salary, generous bonuses based on results, full gag order, new social media, no interviews, no regulator comments. The offer came wrapped in digital gold ribbon and a groveling note. Asterisk, Dana, we recognize the critical nature of your previous contributions. Please consider this opportunity to help us restore operational integrity. We are prepared to be flexible. Let's rebuild together. Greg asterisk, Dana reread it twice. No apology, no ownership, just veiled desperation dressed in HR drag. She composed a reply, subject, re-return requested by CEO Directive, Gregory. I appreciate the offer. Truly, unfortunately, I don't return to burn buildings, especially the ones where I was thrown into the fire for streamlining. As requested, please find attached a highlighted copy of my signed termination clause. Section 7C, formal confirmation of license revocation from the National Registry Board screen of your company's certification dashboard, taken 72 hours, post-termination. You'll notice my name is still listed, grayed out, irreplaceable, wishing you compliance and clarity. Dana Miller. No flair, no threats, no negotiations, just receipts. She clicked send and exhaled, not like a woman mourning a lost job, like someone closing a door they built, installed, and locked from the outside. 3 weeks later, LinkedIn imploded. There she was, Dana Miller. Hair is a touch lighter, smile a little sharper, dressed in business black like a woman who came to collect new position, Director of Compliance, Stratex, Biocore. The post was short, no hashtags, no humblebrags, just, grateful to join a team where integrity isn't an afterthought. Below it, 2 lines of polite hellfire. Stratex Biocore secures Omega Med and VARCH contracts, citing continuous compliance confidence as the deciding factor. Those were the crown jewels. The 2 biggest clients her old company had flaunted in every earnings call, now packed up the shop and walked. Stratex didn't have to sell hard. Dana came with the blueprint in her brain and a reputation no PR spin could manufacture. Back at her old stomping grounds, still stuck. Dashboard never turned green. License appeals choked in bureaucracy. Fines daily. Vendors dropped. Holiday party canceled due to budget cuts. Matt, he didn't even get a goodbye cake. Just a 3-minute Zoom call, a quiet transition. Planned. It read more like an obituary. As for Dana, she had her own corner office now. Glass walls, espresso machine, a chair that didn't squeak when she breathed. Every morning, she watched industry feeds ping with alerts like someone watching the weather report for storms she'd already outflown. 1 ping, then another. Her old company flagged. Nan-compliant. License status pending audit failures, under appeal. She took a sip of her coffee, Colombian, black, with a pinch of smug above her desk. Pinned to her monitor with a blue pushpin was a single, yellow sticky note, no signature, no emoji, just 5 words, written in steady block letters, in case they ever forget. I was the license. 3 weeks into her new role, Dana Miller had mastered the art of strategic silence. Her mornings were painted in espresso crema, her afternoons in contract strategy, and her evenings in quiet reflection. But the past had a strange way of rippling forward, and Dana was far from done. She received a message on an encrypted line one only a handful of people still knew existed. It was from Mark Rowan, a former project manager from her previous job. They had history, both professional and personal, the kind that lingered in the half-spoken spaces between ambition and regret. Need to talk? Urgent. Not about them. About something you missed. Dana's eyes narrowed. She hadn't missed anything. Except maybe him. Thursday, 6:14 p.m. Downtown Bistro. Mark sat at a booth tucked into the corner. A man out of place in his skin. His hair was longer, his eyes more tired. When Dana arrived, he stood too fast, spilling his water. She raised a brow but said nothing. "I'm not here to beg," he said. "I'm here because your old company isn't just imploding." "Burying something?" Dana slid into the seat. "What did they bury, Mark?" He hesitated. "An illegal subcontract. Passed through compliance with a fake license." Her pulse kicked. "Impossible. I monitored post-termination," he said. 2 days after you left. They forged credentials on a contract with a medical trials vendor in Eastern Europe. If that trial goes sideways, they'll pin it on the license. Still listed under your name." Dana's blood ran cold. It wasn't just about poetic revenge anymore. They were using her signature, her credibility, her legacy. Friday, 11:32 a.m. StratX Biocore HQ. Dana stood before her new legal counsel. Her posture firm but her voice low. "If I'm still in the system, I need it erased. Now." The legal director, Prisha Naidu, scrolled through the official Federal Credentialing Board interface. "Dana, it shows you as inactive, but your credentials, the metasignature ID, hasn't been fully purged. There's a trace, like a digital ghost. What happens if a vendor uses that ghost? They can claim deniability, but you could be held liable. And if a foreign trial goes wrong." "I get it," Dana interrupted. "This isn't about pride anymore. It's survival." Saturday, 9:45 p.m. Her apartment train drummed lightly against the windows. Dana paced, phone to her ear. "Liz." "Dana. Oh my God, are you okay? I need a favor." "Quiet. I need access to the shared server logs from the week of my termination." "That's risky." Dana paused. "Please a beat. Then, check your inbox in 10 minutes. Passwords, the doodle we used to laugh about." Dana smiled despite the storm raging in her chest. "Thanks, Liz." She opened her laptop. Her fingers danced over keys like she was defusing a bomb. What she found turned her stomach. A forged signature block. Timestamps manipulated with an admin override, her old override key. A vendor name she recognized, Veltracor Medical. And attached, a confidential risk memory stamped internal use only. Side effects are underreported. The sample data is inconsistent. Proceed at risk. Dana printed it, stapled it to a packet, and sealed it into an envelope with a handwritten note. "To the Regulatory Oversight Committee, you missed something. Sunday, 6:02 a.m. Gregory Wins. Email inbox. Subject, pending federal investigation. Veltracor submission body. You should have deleted my name." Dana Miller. The clock had just restarted. And this time, Dana wasn't just the licensee, she was the witness, the whistleblower. And the storm. By Monday morning, Dana's email to Gregory Winslow had become an industry whisper. Not officially. Of course, compliance scandals rarely made the press, but in the back channels of LinkedIn, DMIs, and encrypted signal chats, her name had taken on a new tone. Not just Dana Miller, license officer. Dana Miller, regulatory thunderstorms. Biocore's internal counsel filed a formal affidavit alongside Dana's evidence. Within hours, the National Regulatory Oversight Committee opened an emergency investigation into Veltracor Medical. By Tuesday morning, 2 contracts had been placed under review. By Wednesday, subpoenas were in motion, and by Thursday, Dana was summoned. Thursday, 9:08 a.m., Federal Oversight Committee building. The hearing room was sterile, gray, and still. Rows of chairs, 2 flags, 1 wooden table. Dana sat opposite 3 members of the board: 1 former judge, 1 military compliance officer, and one sharp-eyed woman who looked like she had once written entire policy books by hand. You understand why you're here? Dana nodded. Double quotes, we received your submission. It's thorough, it's also dangerous. Dana didn't blink. More dangerous to stay silent. A pause. Then the sharp-eyed woman leaned forward. We're issuing a formal notice of fraud investigation against Veltricor Medical, but your old employer may attempt to claim you participated. I figured, Dana said. Do you want protection? She nodded slowly. And something else. Friday, 6:26 p.m., Gregory Winslow's private office. He hadn't slept. Not really. He looked like a man trying to hold up the sky with one hand and balance a ticking clock with the other. His secretary knocked. There's someone here to see you. She's not on the schedule. Who is it? Dana Miller. Gregory's stomach dropped. She walked in without waiting. In a black suit. Hair pulled back. Calm, unforgiving. You got what you wanted, he said, voice dry. A collapse. Headlines are next. No, Dana replied. I got what I needed. You're going to fix this. You'll testify. You'll cooperate. And you'll sign this. She dropped a folder on the desk. Inside, a compliance roadmap, signed resignation clauses, vendor letters, and a list of internal witnesses ready to flip. At the bottom, a contract. Stratex wants exclusive rights to your FDA pipeline. You're going to transfer it. Quietly now. Gregory laughed bitterly. You're bleeding us dry. No, Dana whispered. I'm giving you a way to stop the bleeding. 1 week later, news cycle breaks Veltricor Medical under federal investigation for data tampering and unlicensed trials. Winslow Enterprises to undergo internal restructuring. CEO announces retirement. Whistleblower credited with triggering largest compliance overhaul in industry history. Dana didn't speak to reporters. She didn't write a book. She didn't sell the rights. She moved on. 3 months later, a cabin in Oregon. Mark Rowan stood at the edge of a small lake, casting a line. Dana leaned against the porch, watching him. He'd left the industry after it all blew up. Found peace in quiet things. You ever miss it? He asked, not turning. Dana sipped her coffee. I miss doing it right. I don't miss the noise. He glanced back. You still read the alerts. She smirked. Only when they mention me. He laughed. They stood in silence. The kind that means something's still being written between them. Later that night, her laptop glowed. Dana opened her inbox. A new message. Subject, private invitation, Federal Ethics Committee body. We'd like your voice at the table. Help us change the future. Below it, a sticky note digitally scanned and sent by Liz, in case they ever forget. You were the license. Dana smiled. The storm had passed, but she had become the weather.